Hi everyone, this is Lada from Astrolada.com with your weekly astrology forecast for the middle of January. That will be the 16th to the 22nd of January. And this week there is a major focus between a configuration between two planets, Saturn and Mars, and we're going to talk in depth about it. But first, a quick announcement. Those of you who couldn't attend my All About Uranus webinar, it went on for 6 hours and everyone was super happy with it. The knowledge is something else, it's not out there. So you can still get it at my website, and don't forget that till the end of January we still have reductions and sale on many courses that are much more affordable currently. And if you haven't gotten your 2017 yearly calendar, go and get it now. Wow, it's still the start of the year. And we have great feedback on that calendar as well, which is an electronic download basically of 80 pages, two calendars. One is 80 pages, one is 15 for everything that's going to be happening in 2017. Anyway, let's see what this week holds. First, I want to give you the general influence of the planets, because we're going to be speaking a lot about Saturn-Mars configuration that's happening this week, and I don't want this to scare you, and I don't want this to make you feel like, oh, this week is doomed. But remember, all planets are moving direct till the end of January. This is one of the weeks, which means that lots of new things flooding into our life, lots of new ideas, lots of new developments very fast. As I said, by the end of January, many people would be like looking around saying, what happened so quickly, so fast? It will be like the month whizzes ahead with so many surprises in a positive way, because planets moving directly, they kind of when they move directly, they bring new things, but they allow us to move forward with projects as well. So this is one of those weeks where the energy is moving direct of absolutely all the planets, extremely rare combination. Also, don't forget that Venus, one of the benefics, is really bright in the sky. You can see during the day with your eyes, basically. So while the sun is still in the air, is still on the horizon, you can see Venus like a star that is shining bright in the sky during daylight. So Venus, which rules women, gets very empowered and continues to be empowered throughout this week as well. So women are empowered, women have power, women become more independent, because Venus, which is a feminine planet, is getting some of the masculine energy of the day and the sun. So women have power continually this week. They become more independent as well, maybe a little bit more wild as well in some respect when it comes to relationships, but all kind of Venusian activities like art, creativity, work with women, relationships, they can have a really powerful impact on us continuing throughout the whole of January, and we can make a change there because Venus is infused with the energy of with the energy of the day, which is proactive, so to speak. So anything Venusian, creative, artistic, relationships, we can be proactive there. And women overall around the world will be more proactive and more empowered, more powerful. Venus, during daylight, gets empowered through the light of the sun. Okay, so now let's focus on one specific influence which is predominant this whole week, especially around the 19th, 20th of January, because this is when Mars and Saturn are square to each other, which is a difficult astrological aspect. Square is when they're 90 degrees from each other, and this creates these, and they're both enemies to each other, and they're both considered the two malefics as we know them, Saturn and Mars. And why are they enemies? Because Saturn is the old, Mars is the new. Saturn is keeping the status quo, Mars is rebellion. Saturn is holding on to what you know and what is familiar and what is established, the old patterns and structures, and Mars wants to destroy those. Mars wants to break through them. So there will be tension in our lives. First of all, speaking generally about the world, there will be some frustration, some resistance, maybe more violence of some sort, maybe more anger that comes out. When we speak about predicting world events, we look at the constellations rather than when we speak about personal things. We look at the constellation. Mars is in the constellation of Aquarius, which rules the normal people. Normal people are getting kind of more vociferous, they want to express their opinions, and they might clash with Saturn in the constellation of the Scorpion, which is power, which is people in control and power that have everything, that are moving the whole world behind the scenes, you know. So kind of there might be clash between those two factions, between Mars, the angry people, and Saturn, the people in power, and the old institutions and structures that people are kind of clashing with. But this prediction is about personal prediction, you know. So when it comes to personal prediction, Saturn is in the sign of Sagittarius, Mars is in the sign of Pisces. And who's going to be affected the most? Well, people who have their sun, moon, or ascendant in the mutable signs. The mutable signs are basically Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Gemini. They will feel this week. This week can be more strenuous for them in some way, whether it's your sun, moon, or ascendant, especially if they fall around from the 17th, 18th degree. If your sun, moon, or ascendant, you're around the 26th, 7th degree, you'd feel that square strongly. But how would that affect you if you're one of those four signs? Well, there might be some pressure. For example, if you happen to be Gemini, Saturn will be in your 7th house and Mars will be in your 10th house. So there might be some clash between authority figures or responsibilities in regards to career, or some pressure that comes to you from your career, and in regards to you have to reconcile it, or you have to work through some issue that's connected to your social status and to your relationships. There might be a clash. Maybe some responsibilities require more of your attention, and this can impact your relationship in some way. Some important decisions might have to be taken either in regards to your personal or business relationships, and in regards to your social status in your career, or there might be some pressure from authority figures or from partner figures that you have to resolve in your life, some tension there that's happening. Okay, if you happen to be Pisces, then Saturn will be in your 10th house while Mars is in your 1st house. So again, authority figures, something, you might have to work very hard in regards to some project if you're a Pisces, or there might be pressure and demands coming to you from an authority figure, from a boss, from a parental figure, from some institution, and that's putting pressure on you, that's stressing you personally. Mars in the 1st house in Pisces. Or you might be having to do some more difficult action, more difficult activity, the 1st house, which impacts and affects your career. But there might be something frustrating there, you know, your worldly responsibilities and your personal actions and your personal choices that you make. There might be a clash and you're having to work through that more with more effort. If you happen to be Gemini, we spoke, Pisces, we spoke. If you happen to be Virgo, Saturn will be in your 4th house while Mars is in your 7th house. So if you have anything sun, moon, or ascendant in Virgo, then there might be clash between your relationships and your family life, your personal, emotional happiness and business relationships, or clients, or your partner, your marriage partner in some way. There might be some pressure from your relationships on your personal life or emotional happiness, or something that you have to resolve in regards to your home, private life, and in regards to your relationships. But you know, and then the last sign is that I didn't mention is Sagittarius. Then Saturn is in your 1st house, Mars is in your 4th house. So there might be some, you know, more emotional stresses that are happening, the need to make some important decisions in regards to your personal life, in regards to some parent or family or property. And there might be extra responsibilities and duties on you, some frustration that you have to resolve. But no matter if you're one of those 4 signs, sun, moon, or ascendant in Pisces, in Virgo, in Gemini, or Sagittarius, it can come in any one of those 4 areas of life, because Saturn and Mars are basically activating the 4 corners of your horoscope, which is personal life, which is career, which is work, which is your personal actions and your relationships and your family life, you know. So you'd have a little bit of a challenge this week. But again, the good side of Saturn-Mars configurations is that even though they're a bit frustrating, a bit stressful, that they require more mobilizing of our energies, more personal resolving issues, they can help us work much harder, because Saturn is discipline and Mars is energy, and we can put discipline energy into sorting out some problems. So even if it's a bit stressful, you'll be able to resolve those stresses, even though in a frustrated way. But you know, these things happen, it's part of life, they make us more resilient and stronger. So don't overreact, don't be too, you know, when you have, and this transit is about active 2-3 days, sorry. So you will feel it around the middle of the week. And it can impact you on a personal level if you're one of those 4 signs. And even other people will feel just more frustrated, generally a bit more anxious, more. I would advise not to start new beginnings when Saturn and Mars are in a difficult aspect, or like start new companies or whatever, because you'd always have some resistance, more enemies, having to work much harder to overcome certain blockages, you know. And so those 2-3 days, if you find yourself overreacting or being frustrated with something, the best advice would be to, instead of rushing to react, and you might regret it after that, and you might feel that you said or did something too rashly, instead of that, just, you know, try to work consistently through the problem, try to do it slowly, and of course mobilize your best ability to deal with whatever mini crisis happens and to solve it, and know that it will be over pretty fast. It's not gonna ruin your life, it's not gonna be the end of it, unless you're starting something really, really important in your life, which will carry consistently the energy of those 2 planets at the start of that event, throughout the life of that event or new beginning. Other people that will be strongly affected are also Aries, Scorpios. Why is that? Because Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. Like if you have your Sun, Moon or Ascendant in Aries or in Scorpio, you also feel this square. And like inner tension again, and you feel more like, because you're Aries, you feel more like the forbidding energy of Saturn pressing on you, like the need to take more responsibility, to be more mature, the need to work harder. Maybe some project will come up that puts more time limitations on you, the need to mobilize your energy to work harder, to deal with some frustration, to take a more mature stand. To work, you know, Saturn is work, responsibility, social status in some sort, to have to comply with authority figures, with all the people or people with more experience who are putting more pressure on you, for example. And again, it can make you get a lot of work done by the end of the week if you mobilize your energy correctly, and if you're, you know, not rebelling against this energy, so to speak. Or if you're Capricorn or Aquarius, Saturn rules you, and then Mars activates your planet Saturn. So if you're Capricorn or Aquarius, Sun, Moon or Ascendant, you can feel more the Mars energy on you, on your planet Saturn, which is something that's pushing you to take action, that's irritating you, agent provocateurs, you know. Mars rules more anger, more frustration, more fiery energy. Sometimes you can just feel it in the body like restlessness. Sometimes you can feel it more like antsiness, or like being faster to anger, being faster to react, you know. So, and because you're Saturnian people, it's better again to, you know, of course something might need to mobilize your energy to get active. This can be the positive result. And to make some changes, progressive changes, which is what Mars requires. But on the negative scale, try not to overreact, because Mars can do things that you, can make you do things that you, no one makes you do it, but you're just more reactive to those energies around, and you can just feel that you were maybe too rash, that you maybe stepped on people's fingers or people step on you. So what is advice? React maturely. What can I say, you know? Or if it's frustrating, know that it will pass within a few days, so don't worry. Or maybe even on the next day or the day after. So that's who is going to be affected the most. The other people, they will generally might just feel this energy of a little bit more frustration, maybe the circumstances around them that don't directly affect them in some way, unless they have one of those 6 signs strong in their horoscope, Sun, Moon or Ascendant. And that's kind of what's the most important things that are happening this week. Another thing is that Venus is having a gently harmonious aspect on the 20th and 21st with Pluto. Venus symbolizes women, Pluto is empowerment. Any projects that have illusion can go well, for example, around the 21st, you know, something to do with beauty, with art, something to do with deep conversations in regards to relationships, something to do about finding out something in regards to relationships. But it's a very gentle and very rare transit, very common transit, so nothing life-changing, to be honest. And then we have the Sun moving into Aquarius from the 20th of January, which will shift the energy. It will make it planets moving into the Sun, moving into Aquarius. It means that that's going to be Aquarius season, and what can I say? It happens every year at the same time. All I can say is like happy birthday Aquarius, starting from the 20th of January, but there'll be more focus on solidarity between people and mutual goals between each other. So it can be a good period for the next 30 days from the 20th onwards to focus on some long-term projects, to focus on social activities with other people, social activities that connect people through ideology or like-minded ideals. If you're organizing anything to do with big groups of people, anything to do through media, through television, through spreading knowledge, information, because which is very Aquarian in nature. If it's anything to do with political organizations, social work of any sort, humanitarian work, work that connects people, or big groups that get together for like-minded ideas, the Sun in Aquarius is going to support those activities. So that's what I have for you this week, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this prediction, and I will see you next week. And yeah, let me know how your week is going, how you're reacting to the more challenging and to the more positive influences. And check out, if you basically what we do every week is whoever shares that video on my Facebook, through their Facebook page, we publish that video on Facebook, he can win a free reading with me. So if you go there on my Facebook, Astrolada, and you share that video, you can win a free reading with me. So thank you very much.